Good morning. It's the 30th of November 2023. I'm heading out my load, and it's going to be an unusually quick day. I'm going to be heading back at midday, I reckon, lunchtime. And it's fantastic, because I'm still going to be paid till about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. But like I said, it all works out. Sometimes I work late. Balances out. I wanted to talk about today. I was watching YouTube last night, and it's about the moon and how it's about scientists reckon it's about 3 billion years older than the Earth. How does that work? And conspiracy theories think that it's not a natural satellite. In fact, there's more evidence to prove that the moon doesn't exist than there is to actually prove it that it does exist, according to scientists and what they were saying. They take my word for it. Go look at the conspiracy theories about the moon. Now, a lot of people think that it's hollow because it rang like a bell when they rammed something into it. They had seismometers all over the moon. When they rammed the satellite into it, this lunar lander, it rang like a bell, like it was hollow. And for about 2.5 hours, the shockwave went from one side of the moon to the other, like it echoed inside the moon, rang like a bell. Now, if aliens are up there, and it's not a natural satellite, and they put it there, and they're living inside of it, it's like an observation platform for Earth. Now, there are theories that the aliens in the moon aren't actually alien to Earth. They were the people of the previous civilization before we developed and advanced. Because you look at all of those buildings with the huge, thousands of tons of rocks, and the way that they built them, they had to have possessed anti-gravity technology in order to move those huge stones thousands of years ago. Because we can't do it today with our modern equipment, but they managed to do it. So there is weight in that regard. If they were that advanced, if they did have anti-gravity, then they did have space travel. And they are currently residing in the moon, looking at the next developing species, which is us. And we are totally failing. Failing to look after the planet, failing to look after ourselves. Kind of a genetic mistake, a failed experiment. I wonder if they're going to come to that conclusion and just come down here and wipe us all out and start again with another species. But there is evidence, I think, my observed evidence, because of the craters on the moon, that it is a metal sphere covered in rocks and dust. Because you look at the craters on the moon where asteroids have hit, and it doesn't matter how big the crater is wide. The bigger the asteroid, the wider the crater, correct? It's only logical. But why is the depth of the crater pretty much the same on all of them? That means that asteroid hit something hard underneath the surface of all of that accumulated rock and dust. That's why all of the craters are pretty much the same kind of depth, no matter how big the asteroid that hit the moon. And after all of those impacts, it had to have affected the position of the moon from Earth, its rotation. It would have affected a lot. Now, comets when they're streaking through space, they have a cloud of debris around them when they're travelling through space. I mean, it's what you see, it's part of the tail that lights up in the sunlight. There's a lot of crap floating around the actual nucleus of the comet. Why isn't that the case with the moon? After all of those impacts, why isn't there a cloud of debris surrounding that moon with all of the dust particles that were just blasted up into space, not enough to drift away from the moon? I mean, the moon really, after all of those impacts and that dust that was ejected away from the moon, it should possess rings like Saturn, because the gravity will have balanced out at some degree. So all of those dust particles wouldn't have fallen back to the moon, but the moon's gravity would have been enough to keep it up there. So the moon really should possess at least rings, if not a cloud of debris surrounding it, but it doesn't. And I think I know why. If that is an observational platform that the aliens are using to keep an eye on Earth, then they don't want a lot of crap in the way of whatever sensors that they're using. So I reckon they're using their version of a cosmic vacuum cleaner and clearing up the skies around the moon after all of these impacts, so it doesn't obstruct their view of what's going on down here. That's what I reckon. Now, it's plausible, but you can't prove it, can you? Not until we get up there in a serious fashion. Like Elon Musk, he wants to build a moon base for his jump to Mars. He's not going to go from Earth, he's going to go to the moon first. Drop a lot of buildings and habitat buildings, and growing his food up there, extracting oxygen and water from the moon's surface, because I reckon the moon does possess water, surface water. And he's going to launch a mission to Mars from the moon, and that's all good. And I hope he succeeds, but I don't think they're going to let him do it. If those aliens do exist and they're inside the moon and they're watching, they do not want the human race in space. We're too violent. So Elon Musk, watch your back, because if it looks like you're actually going to start doing that, your days are numbered. They do not want you, or they don't want humans in space. The only way he could get around not being erased is if he was actually working with them. Yeah, because we've got until, what is it, 2030, I think it was? 2036, yeah, 2036 before the asteroid Apophis. So they reckon if it's coming past in 2026, and if it hits the Goldilocks zone, according to Neil deGrasse, the next time it comes around in 2036, it's going to hit. But it has to go through this specific zone that's below the satellites that's floating around up there, but not quite hitting Earth. If it does that on its next time around, it will hit Earth, he said. The calculations have been made. So if Elon Musk is looking to get people up into space so our species can continue, he's got until 2036. If he's not working with the alien races on the moon, then they're not going to let it happen. They're just going to let us be exterminated and start with it, get their vacuum cleaners out, clean up this atmosphere, and let another species rise to dominance. So things are coming to a head, and I really feel sorry for my kids. I'll be still alive, but I'll be in my 70s. So I've had my little run through life, done my dash, but my kids, they'll be in their prime. all of this crap hits the fan. Yeah, perhaps I should start prepping for them, and then they can carry it on later on. For some calamitous times heading their way. Extinction level events heading their way in the prime of their life. Oh well, you never know what the future holds. And this sun is really getting on my wick in the morning. It's just the right angle to make everything just phase out on the phone. Well, that's about it from me prattling on. I didn't mention the war. Oh, I just did. I'll speak of that on other occasions, but I'm trying to avoid it to keep my wife happy. Because, fellas, we do what we can to keep our wives happy. Because without them, life just isn't worth living. She is the light of my life, and I will definitely be hugely depressed and unhappy without her. And she is my last and greatest love. So that's it from me today. I hope you found your significant other to be as perfect as mine. And I'll catch you on the next one. See ya.